Hello everyone. In this video, I will tell you something about the basics of economics. The term economics, the word in fact economics comes from Greek word oikos, meaning which means house, and nomos, which means the law and order of the stars. The law and order of the stars. There are obviously numerous definitions of economics. Among them, few are very much important in the course of economics. The first definition, which is very much important, is given by Professor Adam Smith in 1776, and it is popularly known as wealth definition. According to which, economics is a branch of science which provides plentiful revenue simultaneously to the people and to the state. Another definition, which is given by Alfred Marshall in 1890, includes well-being of the people to the definition of economics. According to him, economics is a study of wealth and mankind. According to Robbins, which is who gave the definition in 1932, economics is a science which considers human behavior as a relationship between competing ends and scarce means with alternative uses. Simply put, ends can be thought of as the achievements of want, which human beings wish to achieve. On the other hand, means can be considered as the resources which enable us to achieve the ends. This is the most popular definition in economics and mostly used definition of economics later on. Now we have to know the broad areas of economics. Basically, we can divide economics into broad areas: macroeconomics and microeconomics. Microeconomics basically considers the economic condition of individuals, whereas macroeconomics consider the economic problems of a nation as a whole. The subject matter of microeconomics are production pricing, factor pricing, welfare economics, whereas the subject matters of macroeconomics are theory of income and employment, theory of inflation and prices, theory of distribution. Now we should know about the systems of economics. Economy is a system which provides working and living to people during production process. There are three types of economy. First one is market economy, and in market economy, decisions are solely guided by the aggregate interactions of the citizens of the country. The second one is centrally planned economy. In centrally planned economy, investments and allocations of capital goods take place according to economy-wide economic and production plans taken by the government. The third one is the mixed economy, which combines both of this market and planned economy. From the definition of Robbins, which is given in 1932, we know scarcity and choice are important concept in economics. So let's have some ideas about scarcity. Scarcity refers to the condition of insufficiency where human beings are incapable to fulfill their wants in sufficient manner. All resources, including economic resources like land, capital, etc., are scarce in the society. Additionally, these resources have alternative uses. Scarcity may be considered as a situation of limited resources with unlimited human wants. In reality, human wants are unlimited. We may satisfy few more wants, but sooner new wants appear. It is impossible to produce commodities to satisfy all human wants. Moreover, these unlimited wants are competing in nature. For example, a piece of land can be used alternatively for building a factory or a beautiful amusement park or to raise agricultural crops. We have to use this piece of land to generate maximum benefit to the society. So it is very important to think how limited resources can be used alternatively to satisfy some wants of the people to get maximum satisfaction as possible. Now comes the next important concept, which is choice. Scarcity and unlimited wants, human wants, are at the heart of all economic problems. As a result, we have to make some value judgment in our regular life. Choice is a process of selecting few wants from the bundle of unlimited wants. So, some wants are sacrificed or postponed to get other ones. For example, a student desiring to buy a book does not go to the cinema hall. Thus, choice deals with utilization of scarce resources in such a way that it satisfies the human wants in the best possible way. On the basis of this scarcity choice, there are basically three basic questions in economics. These questions are what to produce, then second question is how to produce, and the last question or third question is for whom to produce. Basically, let's first consider the first question, that is what to produce. An economic agent has to decide what to produce with given limited resources. Most of the primitive economies produce basic necessities like food and shelter. In free market economy, production of the commodity is determined by demand of the consumers in the market. In mixed economy, a government may decide to produce public goods. Next comes the second question, that is how to produce. An entrepreneur will always try to produce a good in most profitable and cost-effective manner. Therefore, they will choose that method which minimizes cost of production. Sometimes, government may regulate the production method to limit environmental damage. The last question is for whom to produce. This question is concerned with how goods and services are allocated or distributed to the society. In a free market economy, those with greater purchasing power will have greater access to goods and services, and some members of the society will be unable to buy even essential commodities. There is another important concept in economics that is positive and normative analysis, or you can say positive and normative economics. Positive economic analysis described relationship of cause and effect, whereas normative economics is only concerned with alternative policy options. It is involved in the design of particular policy choices. Sometimes normative economics is value judgment. Microeconomics is concerned with both positive and normative questions. Positive questions deal with explanation and prediction. Normative questions with what ought to be. Suppose Indian government imposes a quota on import of sugar. What will happen to the price, production, and sales of sugar in the domestic market? What impact will this policy change have on Indian consumer, on workers in the sugar industry? These questions belong to the segment of positive analysis. This means that positive analysis implies statements that describe relationship of cause and effect. Sometimes we want to go beyond cause and effect to ask such questions as what is best. This involves normative analysis. Again, consider a new tax on petrol. Automobile companies would want to determine the best mix of large and small cars to produce once the tax is in place. Specifically, how much money should be invested to make cars more fuel efficient way. For policymakers, the primary issue is likely to be whether the tax is in the public interest. The same policy objective can be achieved by different kind of tax. So what I have already said, that normal analysis is only concerned with alternative policy options. This is all about the basic concepts of economics. There are all other concepts of this, other important concept which is very much essential to start learning economics, which I will share in my next video. And in up to this, if you have thank you very much for listening to this session, and if you have any queries regarding this session, you can contact me in my email address, which is given in the slide. Thank you again for listening to this session.